Today I want to talk to you about communication and things that help me as a parent, as a mom, help me with Kira and communication, and helped her develop her communication. Hey everyone, my name is Kristen and welcome to the vlog. Today I am at the beach with Kira and we're about to go get her hot lunch from the school. With everybody at home, I thought it might be helpful to give people ideas on how to help their children who are on the autism spectrum communicate better. It's not easy all the time. I'm gonna give you the top 5 things that have helped me with Kira and communication. And I have used these methods since she was little, and I also use them with her brother who is on the spectrum. She has come a long way. She's come from nonverbal to verbal, but we still need to practice certain things in order to make it easier for us to communicate with her. Kira, what do you want?
Bar. And
I
need bar. Yeah.
Nope, come here, you need to say
Bar.
bottle water.
Bottle water. I kissed you. I singing.
I know you're singing. The number one thing that has helped me with Kira when it comes to increasing her communication is prompting. It's not the number one, but it's one. It's number one on my list. Whenever she talks, if she doesn't talk in a complete sentence, I try and make her rephrase it so that she says it in a complete sentence. Or if she doesn't say the word right, I prompt her to say it the right way. And we keep practicing this. Or if she doesn't even know the word, I will tell her it and then I will keep prompting her until she says the word. In this short video clip, you'll see her, I ask her what my name is. And when I say that, I mean, what is my full name? And she calls me Christmas Johns. So she obviously forgot my name. So I will need to work on that and continue to prompt her until she says it the right way. But she will say it the right way eventually. Kira, look at mommy. Kira, what's my name?
Mommy.
What's my name?
Kira.
Kristen.
Chris.
What's my name?
Mommy. Christmas John.
Kristen.
Christmas John.
Nice! The second thing that we've done with my kids, and I've done it with all my kids, is first I need to complete this, or mom needs to finish this, and then we will get on to what I want to do or what I need to do. And it's just a simple way to phrase it because she's got so much background chatter going on in her head that she's overwhelmed. And just knowing those 2 things. I do schedules with her, but we rehearse the schedules in our head to help with the verbal communication. But so you can do a visual, you can just print out a picture on the computer of lunch and then playground. So you tell your child, first we eat lunch and then we go to playground, and they might not get it at first, but eventually they will get it because you'll do it. You'll eat lunch and then you go to playground and you show them that. And then you keep showing them that and eventually it'll click. So when they want to do something, you'll say first lunch, then playground. And you may be able to progress to just saying the first then language, or you may have to keep the pictures. But having the first and then for them is huge because it's like giving them something to hold on to because they're trying to make sense of what's going on in the world, and that helps them. It helps them formulate their thoughts and helps them communicate with you, and it helps you communicate with them. So it's vice versa. But first then language has been a huge part of my communication strategy with both my son and my daughter on the spectrum. So that's number 2. I'm not going to share you, but listen.
No.
First, mommy takes a shower. Then where are we going?
Get one.
Then we'll get lunch, right? Are you listening? First, we'll go take a shower, then lunch.
1.
Okay, you hear me? Okay. Visual schedules. Visual schedules not only help the child, but it can help you communicate with the child what you're doing throughout the day. We don't use a visual schedule right now, but I try to make sure Kira knows what our actual schedule is for the day so that she knows what to expect and she is not overwhelmed, and it just helps them have less anxiety, and it's just really good all around. So a visual schedule, you can print out pictures of things around the house about what you're going to do. Like if you're going to get up in the morning and you go to the bathroom and you brush your teeth and you eat breakfast, you put those down visually, and I'll show you a picture of a visual schedule. You put those things down visually for your child to see, and that way you're communicating, we have a routine, we have a schedule, and this is what we're doing. And if they try to veer off track of that schedule, you can point to it and you say, nope, that's not on our schedule. We're not going to go play right now. And then you can incorporate that first then language. And you can say, first we're doing this, and then we're doing this. So the first step for a visual schedule is usually the first then language. So it's really, really helpful to communicate what you're doing in a day for your child who is on the spectrum. And then it also helps relieve anxiety because they know what to expect, and they can look on their schedule and they'll know, oh, okay, this is what we're doing today. So I really need to get Kira's OT. She gets outpatient OT. I really need to get her to make a visual schedule for the home while we're not receiving any services. If you have that, that's what a OT and a speech therapist is there for. They're there to help you learn how to communicate with your child and help you deal with their schedule. So you can have them help you print out a visual schedule and a first then board, because those are huge, huge ways to communicate with your child on the spectrum and have been very helpful with Kira and Sam, actually. So for both of my kids on the spectrum, they were really huge. And I used it before I even knew Sam was on the spectrum. I knew he had a communication delay, but I used it with him before I even knew he was on the spectrum. So that language has been very, very helpful. The visual schedules and the first then boards. The fourth thing to help increase communication in Kira is positive reinforcement and getting really excited when she does make those verbal or communication connections. Anytime she learns how to communicate something, I make a huge deal out of it. And then I continue to make a huge deal out of it so that she wants to continue to communicate with me.
Christmas drop.
High five! Nice job! For example, if she say she finally says my name right, which she finally did, instead of saying Christmas Johns, she said Kristen Johns. So I got really excited because I want her to be like, oh, that's how I say it. And Mom gets really excited. And one thing that Kira loves is facial expressions. She doesn't care if it's a mad facial expression or a happy facial expression, but she likes facial expressions. So she does things to try and get a reaction. And if I can give her that reaction, she loves it. Some kids might just take to like an M&M or something like that, a tangible reward. A lot of kids just learning how to communicate. That's how you first get them to communicate. Whatever you need to do, if you need to give them a piece of candy as positive reinforcement so that they talk, there is nothing wrong with that. And I am going to encourage you to do that. Do what you can to get your child to talk, and it's bribery, and that's okay, because these kids don't learn to communicate the way that a typical kid learns. A lot of kids who are on the autism spectrum do not care about communicating in a typical way that other child does. So you need to reward them for doing things that a typical child would just intrinsically be excited about. So a typical child would be excited to see you happy and be like, oh, that's so great. But a child on the spectrum doesn't care. Like, a lot of kids on the spectrum don't care if you're excited that they say something. Kira is now, but when she was little, we had to use a lot of the tangible eating type of rewards to get her to start looking at us and all that. But now she'll work for tokens and expressions and all that. And she'll work for a mad expression too, because, you know, she's autistic. She doesn't view the world the way we do. But you need to do whatever you can to get your child to communicate. And if you have to give them M&Ms and Skittles and all that other things, then there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that gets them to engage with you, there is nothing wrong with that. And that's pretty much ABA. Like, you are rewarding your positive reinforcement. And you can slowly fade out the tangible eating rewards if you have to, but in the beginning, make sure you give them a tangible reward, because you will get them to increase their communication with you tenfold the more you reward that communication that comes intrinsically for a typical child. Number 5, or the last thing that I have done to help increase Kira's communication over the years, is keeping the words to a minimum. Kids on the spectrum have a lot of sensory processing delays. They're taking things in that typical people don't take in. And it's very hard for them to process too many words. And they still do that with her, especially when we're learning a new concept. She's not going to hear, well, you shouldn't do this. Blah, blah, blah. She's not going to hear anything you say. For an example, well, the first then, like, that's very simplified language, but you can expand on that. You can point to what you want. You give a physical prompt. Like, if you want them to do something, you move your body in a certain way, and that helps you communicate what you're thinking or feeling and what you want them to do. If you don't want them to go into a different room, you go stand in front of that door, and they'll be like, okay, there's a visual prompt that I am not to go in that room. If you just say go, point, and move your body in a certain direction, that's a way of communicating to a child who is on the spectrum that you want them to do a certain thing, and they can process that much easier. The less I talk to her, the better she can process it. She has a very heightened sense of sound. She can hear what people are saying on the phone that I can't even hear when I'm on the phone with the people. She can hear sounds when she's downstairs that are happening upstairs. If I open a door to a certain room, she can hear that. So she's processing things that I'm not even aware of. And she can't not process those things, because that's just who she is. And I'm assuming that she does the same thing with sights and sounds. She's constantly making adjustments that you or I don't have to worry about. And so the less I give her verbally, the easier it is for her to process. Keeping those words and using those words to a minimum and prompting is my number 5. So if you have any suggestions on what has worked for you and your child in regards to learning to communicate better over the years, please drop me a comment. If you have any questions about ways that you could help your child communicate better, drop me a comment. Like what you see, could you please press like and subscribe? That way I get out into the YouTube universe. Please hit that bell and you can get notified when I upload more videos. Thanks for watching and have a great day.